Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Up Supercast Game Club. My name is Brandon, and I am your host. And joining me today, I've got Ills.
And as you know, I am a Maverick Hunter.
And I got Noah.
Ew!
And this week, we played Megaman X Command Mission for the Nintendo GameCube. Not the PS2, but it also was released on the PlayStation 2 as well. This game was released in July of 2004 in Japan, and then North America in September, and Europe in November, all of 2004. Developed by Capcom Production Studio 3 and published by Capcom, of course, because it's a Mega Man game. And Ills, you picked this game. So why don't you tell everybody why you picked this game for us to play?
Sure. I love Mega Man X. It's my favorite Mega Man series of them all. And I've never played this game, and I am glad that I picked it because I like it.
All right, cool. So Mega Man X Command Mission, not your typical Mega Man X game.
Nope.
It's an RPG, so it definitely is not standard. If you're not aware of Mega Man X, it's basically a spin-off of the original Mega Man series.
It's a sequel.
Yeah. It's a sequel series that basically is its own series now, separate from Mega Man. It's had multiple games, and they're all kind of similar to the original Mega Man in terms of that they're action platformers. With boss battles and stuff, but I think Mega Man, for me at least, I think Mega Man X is more action orientated than the original Mega Man series.
I mean, there's more stuff going on and there's more mechanics, but it's pretty much the same.
Yeah,
thing.
it's pretty much the same.
Yeah,
except
very
I would say there's a stronger focus on story. In X.
In X, there is definitely
asterisk stronger attempt on story.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
And there's also like upgrades and stuff like that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so this game definitely goes off from its normal Mega Man X games because you have an RPG instead. And this isn't the first Mega Man RPG, because there was also, I know, was Legends an RPG? Or
sort of?
Kinda?
Sort of.
But then there's also, of course, the Mega Man Battle Network series, which is a completely different thing, but also is an RPG as well. But it's more of a strategy card RPG type of thing. This is more of a traditional Command Mission's more of a traditional turn-based RPG system. And in this game, of course, you play as Mega Man X. But you have a lot of returning Mega Man X characters in here from other games in the series, like Zero and Axel.
Yeah, those two are basically the only ones. Yeah.
But they're in there, and this game takes place in the 23rd century, year 22XX. It's a thing that Mega Man games always do. They just kind of throw it in. Like a 100-year period, basically.
This game is, it has been, I guess, no longer part of the canon anymore, but I don't know if it was initially that way or if it became that way later on, but it's supposed to take place after Mega Man X8. So This is the final Mega Man X game, apparently.
Okay.
Even though it's not in the canon anymore. So
okay. So they've kind of erased it from the canon anymore.
Yeah.
That happens. It got George Lucas. Just decide, those things we said were canon, they're not canon anymore.
I mean, it doesn't really fit in with the X series very much. It has the same characters, but you could put this anywhere basically. It doesn't fit with there's no Sigma. He's the series villain. He's in every X game. There's no other shit. They don't even mention Sigma. It's so weird.
It was weird. I was wondering that too, because I know Sigma is the main bad guy in all the Mega Man. He's like Dr. Wily from Mega Man X.
Yeah.
But he never even gets brought up in this game. It would be like an original Mega Man game without them mentioning like Dr. Wily at all. It just would be weird. So yeah, you're right. That is odd. It kind of feels like a like how anime always have like OVAs or like movies, and those movies are just kind of like these standalone stories that could basically just be shoved at any point in the timeline.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really make any sense for them to fit anywhere. Really, you just like it doesn't matter. And that's what it kind of feels like.
It makes sense to fit after X7 because Axel's there, but that's it.
Oh yeah.
Right.
So like it's because I definitely never followed the X series like story. It's
not important.
Is Giga City not like the main city where usually the X games take place? So it does take place in like a completely different place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it can definitely be like a side story.
Force metal is not a thing. That's not a Mega Man X thing.
Yeah. Yeah, Force metal is the big thing in the story. There's the Reploids, right? Who are like the human androids.
They're basically all robots are Reploids. But...
Yeah. And then there was this stuff called Force metal, which the bad guys were using to basically power themselves up and makes them stronger. Mm-hmm. And they were trying to turn it into a weapon.
Yeah. Another weird thing, not related to Force metal, but another weird thing is that Dr. Light is not mentioned at all. Like, even though you get like upgrades from him all throughout the X series, neither is Dr. Kane, is the guy who works on X, who found X.
Yeah.
The beginning of the series. I don't know. It's all weird.
Yeah, it is weird. It definitely feels disconnected from the rest of the games if you played them at all. But playing this game separate from them, I mean, it doesn't really matter too much. Just if you played the other games, it's just weird that it feels like a little randomly disconnected from them. But yeah, so this game is an RPG, and the battle system in it is it's 3-on-3 fights. You take control of 3 characters at once. You can swap between any of your other party members that aren't in play.
The enemies can be more than 3 characters to fight.
That's true. The enemies can be more than 3. Sometimes it's mostly it can be more than 3, but it's usually contained to 2, 3.
I don't think I've seen higher than 4, maybe 5.
I think 4 is the limit because there's like a battle where you fight a ton of bad guys, but like there's only 4 on screen at once, and they bring 4 more in.
Yeah.
So I think 4 might be the limit, but yeah, you control 3 characters at once. And one of the things I do like is that you can switch out your party members at any time during the battle. Yeah.
And all of them get the same XP, even if they're in the back, not to get part of the battle, which is awesome.
I do like that too.
That should be in every RPG.
Yes.
Yeah, it really should. Especially games like
Octopath Traveler.
Octopath Traveler, yeah, I don't know why I couldn't think of it. But yeah, Octopath Traveler. And I do really like the idea of being able to switch them at any point during the battle, because sometimes, you come across an enemy that you're like, well, I'd rather have this character, but in a lot of RPGs, like, you don't have that choice to switch in the middle of the battle. It's like whoever you have out is out,
Well, the thing that I like about it is that it works well with the sub-tank system, because you heal your characters by using these finite resources, sub-tank energy, which is, a reference to having sub-tanks in Mega Man games too. Supplemental healing. And you only have like a certain amount of that, like per dungeon, and you can gain some, but for the most part, it's pretty finite. And like, if your character dies, I mean, it's very hard to heal these characters. Like, there's only one character with a healing ability, and it kind of is not great. And you just have to constantly be managing that. So to be able to swap characters on the fly, like at any time, is really, really useful.
It is, yeah. Especially if a character's almost dead, you can just swap them out. It's like, okay, they're not going to be able to take another hit. I could swap them out. Because once a character dies in that slot, unless you have a revival item with you, you're not going to be able to swap them out until the next... After the battle, they get revived, I think, with 1 HP.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be able to swap them out during that battle. You have to leave them in. You basically are wasting a character slot at that point. So it's a little strategy there where you're like, okay, well if they're going to get hit, I need to swap them out now or heal them.
Yep.
So I do like that in terms of strategy for the game. And there's in the battles, you know, there's a lot, you know, that's going on because you have you basically in the bottom right you have your turn list where you can see, you know, the character's speed determines how fast they're going to go and where they're going to go in order. So you can see who's going to go next and like when the enemies are going to go, when they're going to take their turn. So you can try to plan accordingly.
There was no real logic behind the turn order. Like, it always seemed just random as shit. Even though, like, my fastest characters, like, usually would go first, but sometimes they would go last. And it's like, sometimes the enemy would strike 3 times in a row, 2 times in a row.
I don't know what determines
There was no logic behind it.
Well, I don't think that's true. I mean, I feel like my faster characters always went, like, first or twice before another character went. Like, Marino was a god on the battlefield, basically. Like, she would go twice before everyone. Like, pretty consistently. And, like, you know, that's what I would find.
Sometimes she can go 20 times in a row.
Yeah, or a million times.
Well, that's because of her ability, though.
Yeah. Well, she was also like the fastest character. Sometimes she did get multiple turns in a row before the enemies went.
So,
yeah, and you could also augment that by giving her the double clock or turbo clock sub weapon.
In sometimes you would I would notice that during the battle when you would like trigger the battle, there would be like enemy blitzkrieg and they would all get to go first, or like you surprise the enemy and you would get to go
strike
first.
or getting ambushed.
Yeah, it would just kind of randomly happen. It was basically a dice roll, but it would just happen sometimes.
Yeah, that happens in Final Fantasy games a lot.
Which it come to
no, but like sometimes like you would use a move, and then it would change. Like you would have a set order on the bottom right, and then you would use a move, and then order would change.
I did notice that. Sometimes you.
That was so weird.
Like, it's Spider, I noticed. If you use Spider and you used his, like, special, he would just, like, go way down the list after using the special for some reason.
Yeah, I think the thing is, when you use the attack trigger moves, it just makes them have to recover longer from that. So, that's one of the downsides of using an attack trigger move. You can subsequently make your move come faster if you press, like, defense or decide not to act at all, or only use a sub-weapon and don't act. And cancel your attack.
So, I wish they explained that. They didn't really, But, okay, that would explain, like, half the game for me then, because I got to a point where I was using those specials every turn, so...
Yep.
The fucking turn order was just all over the place at that point.
Yeah. I don't think I used the attack triggers that much. Like, a lot of them I didn't like very much, but... They were pretty cool. Like,
I like the attack triggers. Like every character has like their own special ability. Like X has the charge shot. Axel turns goes into stealth mode. It can't be hit by anything, including your own items.
Yeah, your own
heals.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I was like, what the fuck?
So yeah, it heals or your own items. It's pretty silly.
Wait, no, you're talking about hyper mode, not attack trigger, right?
Yeah, that's hyper mode, yeah. But also, the attack trigger...
Axel's attack trigger was his special.
He transforms, that's right. Transforms the DNA with the,
Yeah.
When it becomes like one of the boss you fought,
You use one of their attacks, Yeah,
that's what I meant, not the stealth mode thingy.
I didn't like spiders or Marinos. They were too chance-based. Like, a lot of the times I would just not get anything good from them, and I feel like I wasted a turn.
I did like spiders only because I like playing poker.
Yeah, I mean, I like that it's poker-based, but, I mean, like, if you get a shit round of cards, there's nothing you could do.
Yeah.
It's like I barely used
hated
either
that
of them.
She had a slot machine. I
hated it.
Yeah, that sucked. But I liked zeros that you had to like input like
commands.
fighting commands. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was
And that's
cool.
very true to the character. Like his X4 appearance is a lot like that. Like he has moves based on like fighting game shit.
Yeah, so you build up every character has that special, and you build it up through like each turn you get like a gain amount of weapon energy, and once you hit at least 50%, I think it is, you can use it. And if you build it up all the way, the higher you let it build up. If you let it build up to 100%, you can do the max amount of damage with it. So
I didn't like. I mean, I found it very useful, but I didn't like using Cinnamon's attack trigger because it was so annoying to get the spins right. Like turning that analog stick at the right pace to get it to power up. Like, oh my god.
I just did as fast as I could and it worked.
Yeah, I tried that and it would just like miss a lot of the times. It just wouldn't power up the move, so I had to do it a little bit slower to make it, I don't know, hit the right timing or something.
I
wonder if that was an emulation thing or not.
I think it's probably easier with an actual C-stick.
Right. The C-stick also has like different like
the ridges, the notches around it.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably why.
I think it just reads it differently.
Yeah.
I wonder if playing on the PlayStation 2, it would have, like, if we played this PlayStation 2.
Yeah,
it
I was thinking that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to, like, my main team was for a while, until like the last chapter, it was Cinnamon, X, and Axel, because both Axel and X have multi-hit moves, like AoE attacks, so I could hit multiple enemies at a time.
You mean their charge attacks?
Their charge attack. Well, Axel doesn't have a charge attack. He transforms into like a boss, his trigger.
Yeah.
And, like he has a couple of bosses that hit everybody on the screen. Like he has a Silverhorn as a tidal wave, or like the bird guy with the fire attack, and then later on Incentus with the shots. But anyway.
Yeah, no, I definitely understand that reasoning because almost nobody has multi-hit attacks, multi-target attacks. It's so annoying.
And Cinnamon's the only healer, so I used her, and I never had a problem with healing ever again, but dying.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to. I didn't even barely even use the E-tag, the sub-tank, after I got Cinnamon.
Yeah.
Because of like the force metals basically give you like these abilities or stats or things that you can happen. You can only equip a certain few to each character, because if you equip too many, you get erosion, and that causes you to recover less weapon energy and less health from either healing or moves or whatever. Yeah. So you have to you can't just equip like the most powerful force metals you have and be like, okay, my character's powerful
on one
now.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah, because certain characters can only equip so much.
And especially not on Massimo, because he has no fucking slots.
Well, Massimo has a lot of like erosion points, but he only has 2 slots.
He has 2 slots. Yeah.
Cinnamon has like the most you can put on her.
It's dumb that it sucks that certain characters only have certain number of slots that you can use, but
that makes sense. I mean, I like it because it gives them like more, each character more uniqueness, I guess. In what they
but it essentially made Massimo useless to me. Like I didn't use him after a certain point.
I did.
After I got Axel, I stopped using him too.
Massimo after like the usually just pretty much after the first chapter you have him, he's just completely useless after that point.
I stopped using him like I think chapter 4. Yeah, after that it was done.
So like the strategy I came up with was I had Cinnamon, Axel, and X. I equipped them all with a force metal that would give me weapon energy, so gain an extra 5 weapon energy every turn. So based on that and Cinnamon's, in the beginning I used Cinnamon's special sub-weapon, which would give everybody extra 10 weapon energy. Yeah. So with that, I would be able to use Axel's DNA charge attack, whatever, trigger, and X's trigger, like with the charge beam every turn, so I'll be able to
hit everybody.
Yep, pretty much.
See, well, that's a good strategy for going through the normal dungeon and fighting, like when you come across multiple bad guys. But during a boss battle, Zero is way better than Axel.
Oh yeah, he's a glass cannon.
Zero is fucking awesome during a boss. When you only have to focus on one enemy, he can do so much damage.
Wow. Yep. I mean,
like during the last chapter, it's just I just used Zero and just fucking destroyed everything. Because I did the same strategy, so I could use his special every turn too. So I was like, oh god. doing like 10,000 damage every fucking turn is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I like Zero a lot. For my money, I think Marino is my favorite character. She just essentially went before everyone, and she attacked like 3 times in a row. And it was just like, okay, well, what's the point?
There was a boss battle where I just used her, and I kept using her ultimate, where to let her just keep going multiple times in a row.
Hyper mode.
Yeah, her hyper mode. And I just kept reactivating it. And I got so many turns in a row. It was ridiculous. Like
I soloed the last boss and the chapter 9 last boss of with just her basically.
She is wicked good. She's awesome. So yeah, I mean, I want to talk about how each chapter plays out, because in terms of story, I think there's just like not a lot to talk about here, but I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit. But I want to talk about like how each chapter goes, because basically you have like a home base, right? In Giga City, is that what it was called?
Yep.
You have a home base at Giga City, and like you can start each after each chapter you go back to the home base, and you can go to the shop and buy stuff and sell stuff, and you can go back to previous chapters. And there was also, I want to mention, there's this thing, I used it a few times. It was you can basically, while you're in the areas, you could find like broken down Reploids, and you like send them back to Giga City, and they get like fixed or repaired, and then you can go to send them out on like missions, like search missions. This has been a thing I've seen in like multiple games, like RPGs and stuff too, where you send people out on like missions, and they return after a certain time, and they find money and items. So that was a thing I did a few times. I actually found a key on one of them, and I went and used that key, and there was like a secret shop. It was like in the first area of the game. And it had like everybody's like ultimate weapon, but they were so fucking expensive. I bought a couple of them. I really wanted to get X's, but it was like $100,000 or something like that, and I was like, yeah, I don't have that much money. But it was cool because you can find random stuff, and you can go back to previous areas. And I did look up. I didn't find any, but I did look up, and there are secret bosses that you can fight in this game as well.
Well, that would explain X's.
The hardest bosses,
yeah.
There's 3 super bosses, basically.
Yeah, which is cool. And apparently I looked this up. Zero and X both have alternate hyper modes that they can use. And X's is fucking sweet as shit looking. He has like, he turns into this like big like floating UFO with like giant machine guns on his hands. It just looks fucking awesome. And actually Zero's looks really cool too. He turns into like a vampire. Like with like huge bat wings.
Super weird.
Yeah, very weird, but fucking cool as hell. I mean, it fits Zero. He's like the edgy Sasuke type character.
That would have cool to fight the extra bosses. The only problem though is like all the chapters and like all the dungeons that you go to, the enemy encounter rate is so fucking high. Like, you take a couple of steps, you encounter a battle. It's like, it was getting really frustrating. And the battles aren't fast either. Like, they're damage sponges, the enemies.
Yep.
It's, that's one of my biggest things that really pissed me off while I was playing this game, was just the encounter rate for the wild battles. It was, sometimes I would get out of one, I'd, like, move the camera and dash, and then it would be, like, another one, like, instantly.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like it was getting worse as the game went on. Like, I didn't feel like it was that bad initially, but I guess maybe just because the enemies got more damage spongy, that the battles just took forever, that they seemed to weigh on me a little bit more. But, yeah, I definitely felt that. And I mean, to complement that was also like the boring dungeon design is just like so bland.
Yes.
Like
none of the there were just like hallways and rooms.
Yeah.
There was nothing interesting about them. And like, I mean, I like the desert one kind of because it was different. You had to like find your way around
for a little while.
And then it goes back to a fucking underground base, which you've seen 5 times already. So
like, a lot of very samey, and just like they tried to like do different things here and there, like with the conveyor belts, or like these like light puzzles that you like with the laser beams. But they're kind of frustrating to get through because you're just getting into random battles all over the place. But
The
yeah,
sandstorm was really frustrating to go through because you would take a few steps, go into a battle, the camera would set, and you're like, okay, which way was I going? Fuck. They like interrupt what you're trying to do so easily.
Yeah. But you're right. The dungeon design is very linear and kind of boring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, every area looks kind of the same.
Even with that, I mean, like the worst part, I think the worst dungeon was Chapter 9 with the security beams. I wanted to blow my brains out.
That was so
I
annoying.
didn't mind it because you didn't have any random encounter rates. You only had encounter rates with the laser beams, so it was a nice breath of fresh air.
I spent like 25 minutes in one room trying to go through all the doors because the security beams kept resetting.
Yep. Was it the one with like... It was like 3 of them, and there was like 6 doors. Yeah, that room was fucking ridiculous.
It's so stupid.
Yeah, I was just running from the battles, but even then, it was just time consuming because it's just ridiculous. I would like encounter the battle and just run.
Yeah, that works.
Because it got to the point where near the end of I just got frustrated with the battles, and I would just like run from them. I didn't even want to deal with them sometimes. Or I would see like the fucking self-destruct guys with the shields, and I was like, I'm not fighting these things.
Yeah.
Because then you waste your time. You not only you get hurt because they fucking kill themselves, but you don't even get experience for it. And it's just like, what the hell?
And they're
is
tough
the
to
point?
take down. You can't take them down in one turn because they're fucking gazillion HP.
Annoying. I hated those guys. I do want to mention though, we mentioned that the enemy encounter rate was like really annoyingly high, right? But I want to read through the differences of the versions because there's differences between the PS2 and GameCube version here, and I'm going to read this off from the Wikipedia, because I did want to mention this before I forget because I probably will. So the GameCube version actually makes use of the Game Boy Advance cable. There you can connect your Game Boy Advance to your GameCube and use like a radar to like find secret items.
Mm-hmm. Treasure radar.
Yeah, that is kind of neat. I didn't know that was like a function.
I triggered that by mistake. I was like, oh fuck.
And then instead, the PlayStation 2 version, of course, doesn't have that, but instead it has an unlockable demo of Megaman X8. Which, okay, that's kind of cool. But another thing that I read that says on the Wikipedia, the frequency of enemy encounters is higher in the GameCube version.
Nice.
It also says,
God damn it.
If a player takes too many turns to defeat an enemy, they experience penalties far quicker in the GameCube version than the PlayStation 2 version.
Experience penalty?
I don't know what that means exactly, but yeah, I mean, I don't know what that means. But anyway...
I don't know what that means either, but I know there are some super bosses later on that if you don't kill them in a certain time frame, you die. So, I don't know, maybe it's something to do with that.
Wow. But yeah, I mean, the GameCube version apparently has smoother frame rates and just looks better in terms of graphics, which GameCube, I mean, usually look better than PS2 anyway.
I mean, it did look nice.
It does.
The animation's really good. Yeah,
it does look good. Playing it now, and you're playing it on a higher resolution.
It holds up.
Than the GameCube. Yeah, it looks nice. It's got like the cell shading. I think this game looks pretty good for a 16-year-old game. When did I say 2004? Yeah, 16-year-old game at this point. A couple generations ago. I think this game holds up in terms of its look because it uses like a cell shaded aesthetic, and usually those kind of just that look holds up over time, and I think it looks good.
I also think it's for the most part like the character models are pretty nice. Mm-hmm. Everyone but X.
You don't like X?
I fucking hate X's design. Oh my god. He has way too many colors on him. He has like all these little like gold on everywhere. He has this giant black part in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I found that the top of his armor looks like a bra. It's so bad. It's not cohesive at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like Zero looks almost unchanged.
Zero always looks like Zero. He never really changes.
But X, my god. What is this?
Speaking of, I will say one thing that didn't hold up is the voice acting in this game, which was just.
I think it's good. I think it's goofy good.
Some of them. I
mean,
good.
it's bad that it's good. Some of
them are good. I will, but Axel in particular was what the fuck was that?
That's Axel.
Yeah, that's Axel in general.
Whenever you'd use like whenever you use the lemon break thing where you all attack the enemies at once when you get their bar down.
Final strike.
Final strike.
I hated that thing.
Axel, when you do him, he'd be like, "Let's go, everybody!"
Yeah.
It was just so fucking crap.
There are a lot of instances of like that because each character only has like one voice line per thing. Like every time you do a Cinnamon's trigger attack, please, every single time.
That was
so
very
grating.
bad. It was so bad.
But I mean,
X,
the voice acting being goofy. I mean, that's Mega Man. Like,
yeah, that's how the X series has always been. I mean, even the original, like with Dr. Wily and all that stuff. Yeah,
I mean, you got the classics like X4.
Yeah. It's funny though because they try so hard to make it like a serious story, but because the acting is so bad, it just comes off like it's so goofy.
It's not as bad. I mean, it's a fucking improvement over like X4 and stuff like that, but.
I don't know about that, but
I mean, what am I fighting for?
Yeah,
I mean, come on, can you get worse than that?
I mean, it came close with fucking Ale. You literally meet that character for 10 seconds, and all of a sudden, X is like super attached to him, like his best friend fucking died.
Well, here's my thing. This is why, like, I kind of think the story is kind of okay. Like, after you learn the twist, and we're getting to spoiler territories, but like. The twist that's kind of obvious, Redips is actually evil. The guy you were working with the whole time. And his name is actually Spider backwards. Wow, who could have thought? But when you get to that, you realize, like, was Ale even real? Was that real? Or was that him? Was he Spider the whole time?
Yeah, if he is, there's so many plot holes after, like, he put that up.
I don't know if they're plot holes. I think they just throw everything into question. You know what I mean? They make you rethink the story, and I prefer to see it that way rather than to see that like it's all holes. And shit.
They had the scene where, I guess we're open with talking spoilers, I guess already, but the scene where Spider sacrifices himself to blow up the boss to get out the door. There's another thing I want to talk about the story, but let me focus on this first. Like. The scene cut away after it was assumed that Spider and the guy blew up. If Reddit's was Spider transformed, or they can change their shape or whatever, that means he died.
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, I guess he faked his death is the explanation.
Definitely.
Right?
They exploded.
I mean, we don't see the explosion, right?
Well,
anything
X and everybody were 100% sure that they exploded and died.
Well, you know how many times that happened? It's such a trope,
You know how stupid X is?
But everybody on the party assumed and saw that happen in front of their eyes, supposedly.
Yeah, but we didn't.
Bro.
As a player, we didn't see it happen.
The guy's name is Redips. It's Spider backwards.
It's like fucking that fucking Troll 2 movie when he lives in the town where it's like just goblins spelled backwards. It's so stupid, and they see it in the reflection. I do want to mention though that we were talking about the voice acting. The voice actor for X is the same guy who does Domon Koshu from G Gundam in the English dub, which I noticed and I thought was really funny. And then the commander guy, the guy that gives you missions, I can't remember his name.
Chief R.
He it was definitely, I didn't even look it up, but I know for a fact that was Kyle Airbear, who is famous for last time on Dragon Ball Z. So they did get some, he was one of the people who wasn't like complete shit. So they did get some good voice actors in this game, despite some of them like Axel being like real bad. Massimo, I thought, was pretty decent as well.
Massimo was good, yeah. He fit his character.
I mean, it's too bad that Massimo and Marino were basically written out of the story as soon as you get them. So
that's another thing. Like during the story, like there are cutscenes, and like only 3 characters would be on screen at a time from your party, and it wasn't whoever you had in your party. That doesn't matter.
No.
But it was chapter specific. Like the chapter was like involved mostly Massimo would have Mashmo in the cutscenes, and then in the last 3 chapters it would only be Axel, Zero, and X. Everybody else was never there.
They took a complete backseat.
Yeah, and even at the end with like the ending and everything, like everybody was just gone. It was just Zero, Axel, and X. Like what happened to Massimo?
Those are the only characters who matter.
Yeah, like where was Cinnamon during all that? Had they get to escape space, but the other 3 didn't. Like what the fuck?
The story did not care about them at all.
No. That's why there's just so many questions. So many questions like what happened does not explain.
I mean, you
that's
know
what I meant by plot holes, not just with the spider thing. It's just like so many things just didn't connect and like didn't make sense at all.
I mean, you know what happened. They just weren't important enough. They weren't the 3 heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They weren't the 3
But
already
they felt like
established Mega Man
but
X.
then that made them feel like they were not important to the party at all. Like why even have them? That's the point.
I mean, yeah.
I agree. It's
Why
pretty
didn't they just leave after the chapters?
Lazy writing. I will say, I want to mention this, because I want to see how Ilse would feel about this. That many of the team members that worked on this game also had worked on Mega Man X7 and Breath of Fire Dragon Quarter.
Wow. I was
Which,
thinking of playing Dragon Quarter.
This is a fucking game that's better than Dragon Quarter, I can tell you that. Have you ever played Dragon Quarter?
No.
Oh.
I mean, I played a little bit, but I haven't beaten it.
I need to play the Black Fire games.
This I did. I played a couple hours of Dragon Quarter, like way back in the day, and I didn't think it was good.
Yeah, I gotta get back to it. I was thinking of restarting it recently. I'll get there eventually.
Game Club.
It's too long.
I think that's too long.
It's too long.
Yeah, because this is not a very long RPG. It clocks in somewhere between 20-25 hours. I don't think it took me this full 25 hours to beat this game.
15 hours of those fighting enemies and wild encounters.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically you just go to the mission right away. Like, there's not that much extra to do. Like, you can go back to old dungeons, but it's basically just the same dungeons. So why would you?
To either grind or do the fine
grinding.
That's another
you
thing.
can find
You would
some of the
think
old
after
stuff.
so many enemy encounters that you would be over leveled as fuck. No. You barely
level up
like
very
the level
slow in this game.
Very slow. Frustratingly slow.
You're like level 30 by the time you beat the game.
Yeah, like I was going through, there's a mechanic where you can make your own force metal or upgrade like what you have. But there are like certain requirements you have to meet before you can unlock or do that. And one of the requirements was get to level 30. I didn't get to level 30 until like the middle of the last chapter.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was able to buy the force metal that I wanted before I was actually able to reach the level requirement. So that was completely pointless. I barely used that mechanic at all, even though they emphasized on it so much.
Yeah, I guess it's for people who grind. I don't know. I didn't really like it that much. Like, you had to give up so much stuff to make each one. Like, you had to give up, like, resurrect items or other force metals. And it's like, oh, man, this is too much of a hassle.
Stat boost items.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was so pointless. Like,
I didn't use it too much.
I wanted to like it, but it was useless.
There are a few that you can't get anywhere else. I know that.
Yeah.
But, like, those are, like, for super bosses, basically. Like, if you're grinding the game to beat those guys.
I'm sure there's something to be there for somebody who is very enthusiastic about this game and wanted to get everything they could out of it. But for a normal playthrough, it's kind of just like whatever.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of these mechanics I liked and like wanted to like dive into and see what I could do and whatnot. But it's like the combination of like enemy encounters are not fun anymore after chapter whatever, like 3 or 4. You get like extremely frustrated.
Yeah, this is my thing about this game. Like, the battles themselves are not fun, generally, but the mechanics behind them are pretty good. Like, I like them a lot.
I like the weapon energy system. It like adds a lot of strategy on what how often you should use your sub weapons, your trigger. If you should like try to defend, swapping. And, like every character has specific abilities and specials, so like you can mix and match and like depending on what strategy you need. And it's really cool, but the battles are fun. So many and like just uninteresting. Some of the
Yep.
boss battles were like I liked because it was different from like normal encounters, but there are a couple of boss battles that are even more frustrating than the fucking enemy encounters.
Yo, that bird guy, fuck that guy.
Fuck that.
That shit sucked.
Anybody who could summon extra enemies, fuck them all.
Summoning extra enemies is okay. Summoning extra enemies that can heal you for 10,000 HP a turn is bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, this is why you should never have a health percentage healing on boss fights. Healing for 25% of their health, just out on a whim, when it takes you like 20 turns to knock down 25% of their health is not good. It's not fair. It's extremely cheesy. It's not challenging. It's very frustrating.
Well, it is challenging, but I mean,
but in the bad way,
like.
in a very bad way that makes you feel like it's cheesy, like extremely cheap.
Yeah, I found myself just constantly having to kill all the add-on enemies that they kept summoning. Like, I hated it so much.
It becomes an even bigger problem because you can't take them out in one turn because they're so damage spongy.
Yeah.
So you're like praying to God they don't heal in this turn every time before you like try to kill them.
Yeah.
Did you guys lose to any boss?
I lost to the fucking bird guy. Yeah, I didn't. There was the second boss, Bodos, where he did the same thing, but his enemies were attacking. They were easy to take down at that point.
Yeah, the angel guys, they were harder to hit, but they were easier. They were way less health. Yeah, that bird guy, he really killed me. I after like a million fucking turns too, and he killed me. I was so frustrated. He was just hard to hit because he was like up in the air.
Yeah, any levitating enemies have like higher evasion apparently.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It was that boss was so frustrating. It was probably the hardest boss in the game for me.
And at that point, you don't have like the characters that do super like up down dodge. You don't have Zero. You only have Massimo, X, and Axel. Was Axel in that one? Yeah, I think he was.
I think you have Marino too.
You had Marino too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you did.
Yeah.
I also want to just say that I did die on the final boss the first time I fought him. I don't know why. It was like 2 turns. I just got wiped out, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And then the second time I fought him, he didn't do that again. But I just randomly died at the.
Oh, did he do his multi-hit attack thing?
Yeah, on like the second turn, it just fucking wiped me out. It's like, well. But luckily, you can just hit retry and just start the battle from right there if you get game over. So.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
Well, I managed to get through without dying to anybody. But I used Cinnamon as my tank most of all, and I gave her the bait ability because she has like the highest defense. But so she would just like bait all the attacks, take them, and then I just heal everybody. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
This is my strategy now.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was doing. Like I had her with the sub weapon that decreases damage she takes.
Yeah.
And then the other one gives everybody else energy. She was the support, like, you'll do that, and if everybody gets, like, below, once their health bar goes below 50, I'm like, heal.
She was the tank and the healer for me, and I was like, okay. I mean, she's basically what Saf tries to be in Divinity for us.
But better.
Yeah, probably.
Saf should play this game and so he can learn from Cinnamon. You know, he should be the new Cinnamon.
He should just say please every time he heals it.
Please.
And Cinnamon was like her thing was she was like the reactor core or some shit.
She was a force metal generator.
Force metal generator, that's what it was. What the hell was up with the weird platypus man?
That was the scientist that made her.
Oh, the platypus.
Yeah, but it was just weird. So what the fuck is this? Why is there a platypus man? Robot platypus scientist guy who's
I mean, a lot of the robots are like animal based too.
Yeah.
Especially like the bosses.
Yeah, but I don't know. He seemed random to me. But man, I want to just say that fuck the chapter 5 boss. It took me forever. It took me like 100 fucking turns to beat that guy. And then
I mean there were quite a few bosses that took so long
like
for me
70 turns. Like at the end of the battle, it tells you how many turns it takes. Like 70 turns. Like Jesus Christ!
I was on one boss.
I took way more than that. On that
I was on one boss for 183 turns.
Holy fuck!
We're doing this.
What guy was that?
Going to the limit. I think it was Botos. The first time I fought Botos.
He sucks.
He just kept making new guys, and I I was like, what is this? Like, I was just holding on for dear life until I finally got him.
Yeah.
But man, I took a lot of items.
As soon as they fucking started, like, because there was a turn where fucking the bird guy, like, I would get him down. Like, you can tell, like, that you're getting close to death because the health bar, like, every time you attack it, like, it gives you, like, a mini health bar and shows you, like, how much damage you did compared to how much HP he has.
Yeah,
so, like, every time you attack,
health bar.
Yeah, it confused me the fuck at the beginning, but I figured it out afterwards.
Yeah.
But, so, like, every time you attack him, it looks like you're doing more and more damage to his health bar, even though it keeps filling up, but it's not really filling up.
It's like a percentage thing.
Yeah.
You're doing, like, a certain percentage of health.
So, I would be, like, almost halfway, like, and as soon as you reach to, like, the last fourth of his health, the last quarter, you can do a final strike and just wipe him out, like, finish the fight. But I would get close to...
Final strikes suck.
Yeah,
they're
boring.
pretty fucking pointless, honestly.
I mean, it finishes them off, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they exist, but they suck in that you just, like, button press. Like,
there's no strategy, just mash.
It's so boring.
Yeah.
It should just be like press an extra button and you get to do like a cool finishing move.
Yeah.
On, not like a fucking every single time it's the same thing. Let's go, everybody!
Yeah. Pew,
and then you just all
There's
fucking
explosions
start
everywhere.
Yeah, it's like time consuming and stupid. I just want it to be over. I'm like, yeah, they're dead. I get it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would get to the point where it's like a third or almost a fourth of his health, and then he would fucking heal and he'd be max health because of his robots. I'm like, no, I have to spend another 50 turns to get him where I was.
I have a couple
and with
random
less
side
resources.
thoughts. A couple random side thoughts. Right at the beginning of the game, there was an enemy you fight, and he like sends out these like little robots that like hop at you. And, like, what the fuck was that animation? It was
so
like
slow.
the slowest thing in the world.
A lot, yeah. Oh my god.
I was just
It takes a
laughing.
minute
I'm
for
like,
the fucking animation to finish.
They so just slowly hop towards you, these little tiny robots, and they blow up, and you just have to sit there and watch it.
They're like robotic dinosaurs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was so weird. And then all of a sudden, at the end of the game, it's typical Mega Man fashion where you have a boss rush on the final level, right?
Of course.
And you fight a bunch of bosses you already fought. But then, you fight a big fish man. It's like you never fought him before, and then you just fight that guy. It was just so weird. I was
Never seen him, just out of nowhere, this fish guy, the guy riding a giant fish, like a
guy riding a big old fish. I'm like, huh? It's like...
Plays no part of the story, and then he just appears and dies. That's it.
Yeah, it was like so weird.
I can't remember. Do you fight all the bosses or only 4? I thought I only fought 4.
Right, you only fought 4.
The commanders.
Because you don't have to fight
Django, the Mad Nautilus, like Dr. Psych, the bird, and...
Big elephant man with the cannons.
Oh, yeah, Silverhorn, yeah.
Yeah, Silverhorn. But yeah, you fight them. You don't fight Botos or the lady with the wings.
Oh yeah, Verma, what's her name? Firma?
Who saves the day.
Furham, yeah. She's just as random. Like, she was part of the team, and then she supposedly takes the force metal out of her, so everybody assumed that she died, and then she appears at the end to save the day, and then she kills herself again, and
Well, I mean, the thing is that she believed in the ideology of the rebellion, and Redips is against the rebellion. She's not with them, so she just, it wasn't like betraying her ideals. She was just going with them.
No, but it's like they tried to put so much focus on her, and like.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean,
they didn't take time to develop her character that much. It's just,
I mean. It's a Megaman X game,
yeah.
so that's what I gotta tell you.
Yeah, because we started with this guy named Shadow, and then he fucking betrays you, and then he shows up halfway through the game, and you kill him.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if Shadow was like from a previous game. That would make sense that you would have a connection to him, but then they act so fucking betrayed when he actually turns it back on him. And then the other scene that I briefly mentioned earlier, where you come to the base when it's first occupied by enemies before you free it and use it as your base. And there's this one guy is trying to stop robots from getting to Chief R. And he's like, okay, here, X, take... you literally meet him. At first, you thought he was an enemy, so, you try almost, shoot each other. And then you're like, oh, okay, you're actually a good guy. And then he's like, here, X, let me sacrifice myself for you so you can go save Chief Artist. X is like, no! It's so, it's dramatic. Like, he barely knows him for fucking, like, a minute, and he's just acting like his best friend fucking died.
Yeah, and the weird thing about that is that the enemies that he's saving you from, they're super easy to kill.
Yeah, like, X could...
You just killed, like, 100 of them.
Yeah, like, what the fuck? Like, they're trying to, like, make it so dramatic, and, like, I mean, I get it, but it's it's just the execution is so dumb and funny.
It's just silly. Okay, well, you guys
was Ale Reddit all along?
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's the twist I want.
Epsilon did nothing wrong, you know.
True.
Yeah, very true.
So, do you guys have any final thoughts on this game before we move on to recommendations?
Sure. The last thing I guess I want to mention is that Inafune, the creator of Mega Man, he was not involved with this game. He wasn't involved with any of the X games after X5, and you could just definitely tell the drop off. So that's part of the reason why a lot of things feel probably weird in this game. That's my 2 cents.
Makes sense. All right. So let's move on to recommendations, and I'll start with you, Ills. Would you, after have played Mega Man X Command Mission, would you recommend it to somebody who hasn't played it yet?
Probably not to most people. I like the game, but I like Mega Man X a whole lot, and I don't know if a person who doesn't like Mega Man X or doesn't know anything about Mega Man X would care or like this game very much. I mean, yeah, like we said, like the battles aren't that good, and you know, the dungeons aren't that good, the story's not that good. So I mean, probably not.
Okay, Noah.
In terms of just like an RPG to play, I would not recommend it. Even though it has like interesting battle mechanics, it's like Il said, it's just the battles are not fun. They become like grindy and like frustrating over as the more you play. But if you're like a Mega Man X fan, yeah, maybe I would recommend it just to see, just because you would want to like check out the series. Like an actual side story would be like just to see something different and be pure like the X series. But yeah, like to the general audience as an RPG game, probably not. As much, even though I enjoyed it as well for the most part.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with what either of you guys said. Yeah, if you're a fan of Mega Man and you haven't played this game before, specifically Mega Man X, I think, you know, if you're really big into the series, I feel like if you're big into the series, you probably already know or have played this game and made a decision whether or not you'd want to play it. But, you know, if you hadn't, I would say, yeah, it's worth checking out. It's a pretty solid game. Like, it's a game that I would say is like a 7 out of 10, you know, but like, it has its issues, like you guys already mentioned, with the battles and everything. So, typical RPG, somebody who is looking for an RPG to play, this would not be one that I would recommend. You know, you could do. I wouldn't. If somebody was like, "Hey, I'm thinking about playing it," I wouldn't tell them no, but I wouldn't. I would
recommend it over other games.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, so now it's time to take Mega Man X Command Mission and put it on the list!
The list!
You can follow along with the list in the Pastebin link in the description below, where every single week on the Jump Up Supercast Game Club, well, not every week, every other week, we take the game that we played and we put it on the list. We got to figure out where it goes compared to the games that are already there. We also add a game to the list every single week on the regular Jump Up Supercast. So to keep track of the list, make sure you listen to every episode. With that being said, Ills, taking a look at the list, since you picked this game, we'll start with you. Where are you feeling? Where do you think it should go?
I want to go below Style Savvy.
Which
Style
is
162.
162.
I was looking around. Yeah, I was looking around that area. I was looking around above Lego Star Wars.
Okay. Yeah, it's not a bad spot. Let's see. Limbo's pretty low on this list. Bulletstorm is too. Yeah, I don't hate that spot actually. Style Savvy was pretty good. So,
Yep.
I think Style Savvy did a better job executing what it was trying to do better than this game.
Well, I think
So.
what I'm looking at is that Style Savvy was less frustrating in this game.
That's true as well. And you think it's better than Asura's Wrath then?
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
I think it's better than Toomba?
Yeah, I think it's better than Zumba. I think it's better than Asura's Wrath because, I mean, Asura's Wrath is a movie. Yeah.
Good
Yeah,
movie, though.
Pretty fun movie.
Pretty good movie. I mean, even like the gameplay portions are not that good. Like, they're just okay. Like, even like compared to most action games in general, they're just not that good. And that's my thing.
Okay. I feel like personally I would put it under Asura's Wrath because I just think Asura's Wrath is more fun. Even if it's barely anything in terms of a game. I know that a lot of the game is, you know, there's the QTEs, which is like 80% of the game, and then the beat 'em up parts, and those all play very similar throughout the whole game. But I think even then, those are more fun.
Well, my thing is that in Mega Man, there was always, well, not always, but like during the boss fights, like even the really hard ones, I felt like engaged with the gameplay. Like I was actually really trying hard not to die because I didn't want to die. And in Asura's Wrath, I did not feel engaged. I was very bored a lot of the time.
I wouldn't say I was really ever bored with that game.
It was entertaining.
Yeah. No, what do you think?
Well, I already said I was gonna put it a bit like or above Lego Star Wars, but I mean,
It's Lego Star Wars?
169, like 5 spots below that. Azura's Wrath.
Well, I would still put this game above Skull Monkeys. So I think Asura's Wrath would be the only one that, I mean, I don't really fussed either way, but I think personally I would put it under Asura's Wrath.
I'm willing to come up and meet you there. Not too fussed, as long as in this general area, it's fine.
Okay. So number 164. And it's meeting a lot of GameCube, a lot of Game Club games. No GameCube games other than that, actually, in this area, but a lot of other Game Club games. I think I'm gonna read the five around it. It's all Game Club games, so get ready. 162, Style Savvy, Fashion Forward. 163, Asura's Wrath. 164 is now Mega Man X Command Mission. 165, Skull Monkeys, and 166, New and Tasty Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey. Every single one of those games, Game Club game, you want to check out the episode on those. We have a little handy dandy playlist on YouTube and on SoundCloud, so you can see every single episode that we've ever done.
Style Savvy was the most recent Patreon pick.
It was. And that actually leads us into our next game, which is going to be a Patreon pick. So I'm gonna do plugs first before I talk about that. But if you enjoyed the Jump Up Supercast Game Club, thank you for listening. We appreciate it. But you can check us out on your favorite podcast listening service of your choice, including SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube, where new episodes of the Game Club go up every other Thursday, and the regular episodes go up every single Monday. So check those out. In the regular episodes, we talk about news and just video game stuff in general, and we also add game to the list every single episode. So make sure you check it out. And if you want to follow us on social media. We've got a Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, where we post new episodes. You can stay up, when the new episodes are up, and you can stay up to date on everything we're doing, including our Twitch as well, twitch.tv/JumpUpSupercast, where we recently became affiliates. So thank you everybody who followed us. We really appreciate that, and we're going to be playing some more games. Muzzy's still playing Mario games. I've been playing some Fall Guys here and there, and I think I might stream the next Game Club game. So just check us out, twitch.tv/JumpUpSupercast. Give us a follow and hang out with us while we play games. And if you want to support us, we do have a Patreon where for $1 a month, you get a chance to choose a Game Club game for us once a round. And it is come time now where we're going to pick the next Patreon game. And our Patreon supporter, Mitch, who is also in our Discord server, which we have for our Patreon supporters as well. And he chose for us to play Jet Force Gemini on the Nintendo 64. Also available as part of the Rare Replay collection on the Xbox One. So we're going to be playing that, Jet Force Gemini, developed by Rare, obviously, because it's part of that collection. So I feel like it's a very little known Rare game. Like, it's a game people love Rare and talk about Rare all the time. They don't really talk about this game. So it's going to be interesting to have this and talk about it. So with all of that being said, thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you, Noah and Ills, for playing games again. Go out there, play video games, and be nice.